Rebellion is a studio I have really grown to love this generation. I enjoy their Sniper Elite series. I never played the first one, but I did start with the second game. The X-ray camera shooting is one of the best representations of why people love games. The intense sniping and violence is just a great way to let off some steam and enjoy some over-the-top violence that provides some really good laughs. Though the sniping was good, as it factored into your character having to hold their breath and the Coriolis effect for distance shots. The other third-person mechanics were lacking, along with the level design being just very linear for the second game. The third Sniper Elite expanded the series with better third-person shooting and stealth mechanics that still had that clunky feel, but were better than they were before, and you could really tell how much better they were, especially if you played the second one and went right into the third one. 3 expanded the series in another way by providing level up progression and larger maps that had you figuring out how you wanted to take out your targets. The freedom here allowed for these individual sandbox levels that provided a lot of replay value. The fourth game is where they hit close to perfection with the series. Sniper Elite 4 is one of 2017's underrated games, as the controls and third-person shooting improved along with providing large sandbox levels to play in. It was like a great combination of Hitman Blood Money, Splinter Cell, and a World War II sniping game all wrapped up into one. Now, why am I discussing Sniper Elite for a Strange Brigade review? Well, that same company who made Sniper Elite made Strange Brigade. I wanted to use the Sniper Elite series as a means to show a developer who continually found ways to improve on their game. Strange Brigade is the spiritual successor to Zombie Army Trilogy, which was a fun offshoot of the Sniper Elite series. It was a co-op focused World War II zombie shooter, where your team either tried to last as long as they could in an area or get to the end of the level. Strange Brigade opts to go for more of a treasure hunting setting, so let's find out if the spiritual successor to Zombie Army Trilogy moves in the same direction as Sniper Elite did. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my review for Strange Brigade. Strange Brigade is a third-person shooter. It is set in a traditional action-adventure setting with some puzzles, many different kinds of monsters to fight, and lots of shooting.
Good lord, such glorious gunplay! No ammo! Ammunition!
At the start of a level, you can select one of 4 characters, 5 including the first piece of free DLC. Each of the characters have their own passive strengths, where that could be more health, more defense, or other abilities. Levels are fairly linear, but they do offer optional treasures and power weapons with diverging paths that you can then go and explore. You can opt to skip many of these optional puzzles and go straight towards your objective, but I would highly recommend you check out the puzzles and alternate paths. One big thing is that it helps to feed into the atmosphere of you being a treasure hunter and searching for new objects and treasures. Plus, when you find a hidden crate that has a powerful weapon in it, it can be really useful during the fights.
Rebuilding bridges? Excellent idea.
These power weapons have limited ammo but are always great to fire off. You can take out an army of enemies with them, and I always love using the flamethrower. As you defeat enemies, you'll gain energy, and you can use that to launch off an awesome super move. Since you'll be doing a lot of shooting, and Rebellion can be a bit hit or miss with their third-person shooting and how it feels, I will say this is that they've been on a continuous upswing with improving controls for their games, and here the shooting feels good. The guns are fun to shoot, and the impact of the weapons is satisfying, especially for this being a teen-rated game. So the kills are not graphic, but many of the enemies will explode or break apart, which gives a nice sense of satisfaction to the shooting. As you complete levels and defeat enemies, you'll earn gold and find gold. This gold can be used to buy new weapons. Along with finding gold, you'll also have these attachments that you can then find and then socket into your weapons to give them different buffs. One I got early on was being able to freeze enemies, and this was particularly useful. You have a campaign that I highly recommend you play in co-op, and you'll also have a horde mode and survival attack mode. Horde is a fun survival mode where you only start out with your pistol and use the earned gold to open up areas throughout the map, along with finding new blueprints to be able to buy better weapons. There's even some interactable objects in the environment, like being able to destroy a bridge and then cutting off the enemies from hitting you from that side. Score Attack has you going through areas of the game, maximizing your points and combos.
Splendid looking thing.
To keep the shooting engaging are the variety of enemies, and it seems like the game continually likes to throw different kinds of enemies at you with each level. And at times they will have some tricks to them to be able to defeat them. Like some of the skeleton soldiers will have hearts that allow them to come back to life if you don't shoot the heart. To contribute to the overall sense of cheese for the game is the narrator.
Yes, the goddess Wadjet, protector of life. According to the texts we've translated, her priests were the sworn enemies of Sateki and led the rebellion against her.
Oh, they sound fun.
Then we have allies in our fight.
Well, the cult of Wadjet died out long ago.
Damn it!
But it is possible they left behind them artifacts they'd use to overthrow the Witch Queen.
Oh, how jolly useful.
We're en route to what was once the center of war.
The narrator does breathe life into the world and story and can sometimes make you laugh. He will even comment if you forget to pause the game, or if you do pause the game, he'll also comment on that. I appreciate the humor, but the frequency of his comments can get annoying. It's like they were excited to execute this neat idea of having a very charismatic narrator, but instead of using him properly, they overused him here. I think the normal cast would have helped to sell this corny, cheesy treasure adventure, but the main characters lack distinct personalities that could really help to sell the experience. They have a few lines here and there, but they need something to really personalize them and make them stand out from each other. While I do think the game can be played in single player, the game is really geared towards co-op play. I really saw this at the level 4 boss fight where I had to juggle an onslaught of soldiers while also contending with the main boss. This juggling act was tough and frustrating by myself and would have been a lot better if I was just communicating with some teammates. Because that way, at least when you're playing with friends, you can then divvy up the enemies and be like, alright, I'm gonna go after the soldiers, you kind of take care of the boss. I do think an additional 1 or 2 AI partners in the single player would definitely really help to giving the single player component that sense of camaraderie that the game is going for. Single player makes you feel like you're not getting the full experience. Overall, this is an enjoyable third-person shooter that is best played in co-op. Though the narrator is used a bit too much at times, he does bring some decent laughs and helps to bring out that silly action-adventure tone. The shooting is fun, and the amount of enemies that you fight at once can be quite impressive. While single player is an option, it's not the ideal way to experience this game. Split screen would have been great to see here as well. But regardless, if you're looking for a fun co-op shooter to play with friends, then I would suggest you give this one a look.
Well, this is jolly nice. What a glorious day for adventuring alone or together. Oh, cracky mummies! Never a moment's peace when you're a globe-trotting adventurer. How will the strange brigade ever get out of this?